Hello, thank you for joining today to learn more about the interior accessibility options that will soon be available for OOR in 2026 Cycle 2. My name is Tanea Payton. I am the Senior Program Manager on our CDBG team, and I will be the one presenting this information to you today that I am excited to roll out. So our agenda, what we're going to cover are eligible activities for interior accessibility modifications, eligible homes to receive those interior accessibility modifications, some application process updates, available resources to you, and the application timeline for Cycle 2. It is important to note that a new activity has been added. However, eligibility requirements for participation in the OOR program has not changed. Homeowners interested in participating in OOR must verify their income to meet the national objective low to moderate income housing. The required documentation at the time of application submission also has not changed. Again, outside of the addition of interior accessibility modifications available to eligible homes, which we will outline here today, there are no changes to the application process as described in the application instructions to be released for Cycle 2. Eligible activities. This says income survey. It's supposed to just say survey. Clearly income surveys were on the mind, but a survey was conducted with various stakeholders across the state and community agencies. Activities that would have the highest impact while remaining within a $25,000 budget per home included ADA compliant toilets, grab bars, wall-mounted shower seats, and zero entry or roll-in showers. And you can see to the right some examples of those activities. And those survey responses informed these options, and these were the top of the list of most impactful for both budget reasons and the accessibility they provide for people to stay in their homes. Eligible homes for these interior accessibility modifications must remain in compliance with our environmental review process. Specifically, as it applies to the OOR program, these policies require that the development of the scope of work prioritizes costs related to radon testing, lead assessments, lead abatement activities, and radon mitigation. Then any remaining funds within the $25,000 maximum CDBG funds per home may be allocated to rehabilitation activities or interior accessibility activities if that is what you're choosing or the homeowner is choosing. It requires that a lead hazard screening is conducted for each residential property, and that if lead testing is positive, a lead safe licensed professional will create a detailed lead and rehabilitation work write-up and implement lead safe work practices if applicable. It is also important to note that radon testing and mitigation, if needed, is completed for all projects with environmental review level of categorically excluded subject to, or CEST, environmental assessment or environmental impact statements. For OOR projects, Categorically excluded, subject to is the category of interest here. Also, compliance must be maintained for projects that have a structure that will be occupied for at least 4 continuous hours a day. For OOR, that is all of the projects, since we are primarily focused on residences. The policies that these compliance guidelines are relating to are our housing projects programmatic policy, environmental review process, addressing requirements from the Toxic Substance Control Act and Lead Safe Housing Rule, and environmental review process addressing requirements from the Toxic Substance Control Act and Comprehensive Environmental Compensation and Liability Act. These policies can all be found on the CDBG policy page. All right, getting into the good stuff. So actual homes, when we're talking about eligible homes and we're keeping in mind that the previous environmental review compliance components all need to be in place, eligible homes to receive or be eligible to have income accessibility modifications are homes that are built on or after January 1st, 1978, homes built before January 1st, 1978 that are occupied by elderly or disabled individuals where no children under the age of 6 are anticipated to or currently reside. Homes that have been tested for lead and found to be lead-free are eligible, and homes where lead remediation has occurred are eligible. You'll note that these homes all fall within an exempt category according to 24 CFR 35, Part 115. This means the lead requirements outlined in CDBG Policy Notice 2024-003 do not apply. They are exempt. There's some examples outlined here. You'll see on the top, there's a home built in 1980. That home is eligible for interior accessibility. We have a home built in 1970 in the middle. This home is eligible if there is no child or children under the age of 6 living in the home and is occupied by an elderly or disabled individual. The home built in 1970 is not eligible if there are children under the age of 6 residing in that home. The bottom picture indicates that a home has been tested for lead, but lead remediation activities have occurred. Therefore, it is eligible for interior accessibility. And as always, I try to be as clear as possible on what homes are eligible. Of course, we're here for you to answer any of your questions if they come up on if a home is or is not eligible. We always prefer that you ask ahead of time so that you're able to give accurate guidance to your communities you're supporting and the homeowners. There is just a slight process update for anyone pursuing interior accessibility activities. There are new required documents with the homeowner application packet submission if interior accessibility is desired by that homeowner. These forms include proof of lead testing and remediation if applicable. Again, that would be applicable for those homes that are seeking interior accessibility but are built prior to 1978. and proof of radon testing and mitigation. This is applicable to all homes. Newer builds will already have that radon testing and mitigation available. So these are mostly going to be your older homes, but if applicable, the homeowner application packet will need to include proof of radon testing and mitigation. The interior accessibility modification option has been added to the homeowner application packet in section 4. Again, the CDBG application process and required documentation has not changed with the addition of this new activity choice. If your homeowner is interested in interior accessibility and does need to provide proof of lead testing and remediation and/or radon testing and mitigation, the documents we are looking for are best advised by referring to our CDBG forms lead-003, verification of completed lead hazard reduction activities, and radon, CDBG radon verification of completed mitigation. These forms are not required for CDBG application submission, but they are required for the homeowners applying to the local OOR program who are interested in interior accessibility activities. Otherwise, you will follow the standard environmental review process after award. This is just a snapshot of those updates made to the homeowner packet. You will see that there's a section added for interior accessibility document checklist only. These are only required for homeowners seeking interior accessibility activities and living in homes built prior to 1978. If a homeowner does not want interior accessibility modifications, they do not need to provide these forms. And then on the right, you will see section 4, home improvements. The ADA accessibility modifications interior option is present, and it is linked to an interior accessibility decision guide. And here is that guide. This is a flow chart that is going to be available under CDBG resources under the OOR tab to help you and a homeowner decide if they are eligible to receive interior accessibility modifications in their home and which modifications are eligible and available to them. So you'll see on the chart, if a house is built in 1978 or after, it goes right down to eligible. It is eligible for all 4 of the activities. If a house is built before 1978 and a child under the age of 6 is living in the home, it is not eligible for interior accessibility modifications. It is eligible for other OOR activities, just not interior accessibility. If a home is built before 1978 and there are no children under the age of 6 living in the home, and it is occupied by an individual with disabilities or an elderly individual, it is eligible. If it has been built before 1978 and has been tested for lead and found to be lead-free, it is eligible. And the lead remediation has occurred following a positive test for lead. So long as lead remediation has occurred, that home is eligible. We'll wrap up today just by giving an overview of the Cycle 2 application timeline. Cycle 2 for OOR and planning will open June 11th, 2026. The intent to apply is due on June 26th, and applications are due July 12th. If you're not ready for cycle 2 but are looking forward to applying in cycle 3 will open for OOR and planning on October 1st, 2026. I hope you found this presentation helpful today. Please reach out to cdbg@okra.in.gov if you have any questions. I'm here to support you, and I'm excited to offer this much sought after and advocated for activity to our OOR activities. Thank you again, and have a great day.